Good morning and Assalamu alaikum, girls. Welcome to yet another session on signatures expressing the self. As you have already gone through the introduction in the last class, today we'll be starting with our module 1, the first chapter, which is The Word by Pablo Neruda. Now, have you heard of the poet Pablo Neruda? He was a Chilean poet, a very popular poet and a communist. He was born in 1904 and died in the year 1973. His real name is Neftali Ricardo Reyes Basalto. One interesting fact to note about Pablo Neruda is that his father did not like him writing, and his father did not like his passion for literature. So, Neruda, in order to hide his writing from his father, decided to use a pen name, and the pen name that he chose was Pablo Neruda. He chose the name in honor of his inspiration, Jan Neruda, who was a popular Czech poet at the time. Another important fact to know about Neruda was that he was a fighting revolutionary. He was a staunch communist, and he traveled extensively throughout his life. In the later years, we find that when communism was banned in Chile, he went into exile. Much like Subhash Chandra Bose, you might have heard of the controversy surrounding his death, how he had escaped and how he had been in exile for many years, and later the controversy regarding his death. Similarly, Pablo Neruda, being a very staunch communist and a revolutionary during his time in Chile, when communism was banned in Chile, he went into exile, and then later he was found dead. So there is many controversies surrounding the death, saying that he was killed and all. Anyway, for our information, Pablo Neruda being a very good Chilean diplomat, and he was also a beautiful poet. Interestingly, Pablo Neruda had written memoirs, a kind of an autobiography, which tells us a history of Neruda's life and also an insight into the Latin American history. The collection Memoirs, it shows his passion for poetry and politics. The original title of the work was Confieso que he vivido memorias. It was translated later into English by Hardy St. Martin. As Neruda himself says in his preface, "Perhaps I didn't live just in myself. Perhaps I lived the lives of others." He had a good relationship with many world leaders, and all these relationships and bonds shine through in his work Memoirs. It was first published in 1974, only after his death. It includes a chronology of his life. We get a deep insight into what happened in his life. And more importantly, it shows his passion for nature, for poetry, and his love of life. And there is this inborn love for his homeland that shines throughout this work, Memoirs. There is very little literary works in it, but still we can find many chapters devoted to literature. And in one such chapter, or in one such excerpt from his memoirs, we find his love or passion for language or the beauty of words. So that is the portion or the excerpt that we will be learning in the section The Word, which comes within this Memoirs. So, as I was saying, before going on to a detailed study or a detailed analysis of the section, the word, I'd just like to point out a few key points that you have to note about this section. As I told you earlier, the word is only an excerpt from Neruda's memoirs. It is considered a great praise of poetry or language or words as such. This section, like two other sections in his memoirs, stands out like a poem and is written in italics. It's filled with beautiful imagery and beautiful expressions. Neruda, in this section, he relishes words, he praises words, he fondles words. You get a feeling of seeing a man who is drunk with poetry, who is intoxicated with the beauty of language. We find that Neruda is trying to personify the word by saying how it grew in the dark body and how it's born in the blood. So the readers get an impression that word is something that is inborn. Written in free verse, it has a few lines and expressions that become very clear and are very beautifully conveyed. Another uniqueness of Neruda's The Word is that word is compared. We can see that the word in many stanzas and in many places it's compared to food and other delicious items. Several themes like colonialism and foreign invasion are also highlighted here. He speaks of invasion as being a real gold hunt, where the invaders or the colonizers, they come and they loot us, but still they leave behind the real gold, that is the language, the word. Like for example, we have the Britishers who came to India and who conquered us and who colonized India, who looted us for more than 200 years, but still they left behind the English language. Vowels are also compared to colored stones, fish, form, thread, metal, dew. The imagery and the comparisons are simply out of this world. Words connect the past, present, and future. We use words to express our thoughts, emotions, and feelings. So the beauty of words or the importance of words can never be said enough. Hence, we can conclude and say that Neruda's The Word is an excellent tribute to his passion for poetry and language. So thank you, girls. I think we'll wind up today's session with this. In the next class, I will be dealing in detail with the text, the word. Thank you for now.